pre-filming ritual, doing shots of lemon. Cheers. Oh, that's sour. Oh.
Alright, let's do this.
Oh. Hey everyone, Kelvin here from Food Chumps, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be covering all different kinds of tea lattes. So if you missed our video last week, we'll put the link down below, but we went over different kinds of coffee drinks like lattes and cappuccinos. So today we're going to be covering different kind of tea lattes. So your London fogs, your matcha latte, and also your chai latte. And we're also going to be covering a traditional chai as well. Before we get started, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let's get you caffeinated. So first we'll start off with our chai latte. So we're going to be making a traditional one and an instant one. We'll start off with the instant one because this one is so easy to make. The ingredients we're going to be needing is any black tea chai concentrate and steamed milk. So when I worked at Starbucks, we used to make these all the time. In fact, Tazo is the exact brand we used to use. And it's so easy and accessible for you to buy. I just got this today from Superstore, our local supermarket, for $7. Now I'll show you how to steam the milk, and we'll get this made in under a minute. So we'll add that milk first, and we're going to do half a cup of milk, and then very similar, we're going to steam that milk. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of all these large bubbles, so we want to tap, and that will help get rid of, dissolve that large bubbles, because we want fine bubbles when we're steaming that milk. So now that our milk is steamed, we're just gonna do some Thai concentrate. This packaging actually tells me to do about 50% of this Thai concentrate and 50% milk, but I find that to be a little bit too strong for my taste, and I typically do about 10 to 20%, and then the rest with milk. So we'll just add about 20% of that concentrate here. Good enough. Give our milk a swirl and then add it. And there you go. And there you have it, the Starbucks chai latte. As mentioned earlier, this is going to be the one that you'll find in most cafes and coffee shops. You'll notice that the color is a little bit lighter, and that's because I added less syrup than recommended. I like to add a little bit less sugar in most of my lattes, but if you like a stronger flavor, I encourage you to add more syrup. Now, let's make the traditional version. Next up, we're gonna do our traditional chai, and this one's actually made over the stove. So we're gonna use the ingredients listed right here, and I was lucky enough to be gifted this exact blend from a former colleague of mine, so thanks Cam, and we're gonna head over to the stove and boil this in water with milk for about 30 minutes. So we're gonna start off with 2 scoops of this chai blend. Start off with a cup of water, and we're just gonna bring that up to a boil. Next, we're gonna add 2 scoops of this chai mix. So now that the water is boiling, we're gonna add equal parts milk. So we're gonna add a cup of milk here. And we're just gonna let that simmer for about half hour.
Few moments later.
So this is 30 minutes later. As you can see, it's got this nice consistency, and we're just gonna strain it now. So there we have it, our finished chai product. Let's give it a try, and hopefully I don't burn my tongue off, but I can already smell it, and it smells amazing. Yeah, this is definitely way, way better than the instant one. It takes a little bit more effort, but definitely the way to go if you have the time. So next up is our London Fog Tea Latte. So we're gonna be using our Earl Grey tea bags, vanilla syrup, and some steamed milk. So this is really, really easy to make. If you don't have Earl Grey at home, it's okay, use any black tea you have. Earl Grey just is a little bit more fragrant and is the more traditional way of making it. So let's steep our tea bags now. And we're gonna be using 2 tea bags today, just for a little bit more flavor. And we're only gonna do water up to halfway just because we need to leave room for some of that steamed milk. And we're just gonna let this steep for about a minute. Now let's get our steamed milk. Just gonna add a little bit of milk and get that steamed. Remember to get that large bubbles out so that you can have that fine, creamy foam. So now that our tea is steeped, we need to add some vanilla syrup for flavoring, and this will sweeten it a little bit as well. Just a teaspoon, and we're gonna add it there. If you like it sweeter, feel free to add more. Now that our tea is sweetened, we'll add the milk next. So a common mistake is people will take the tea bag out too fast, but it's actually better to leave it in as it steeps with the milk, and this will release more of that tea flavor and make it a more flavorful drink for you. Now let's give it a taste test. Well, it's really hot, but it's almost there. So the tea can steep a little bit longer, and we'll just let that chill in here for a few more minutes and it'll be ready to go. Lastly, and definitely my favorite of all of these lattes, is the matcha latte. And matcha latte is also known as the green tea latte because matcha is finely ground green tea, and it's really, really high grade. So the ingredients we're gonna be needing today are matcha green tea. You can use any grade, especially for a latte, so you can use culinary grade or any cheaper alternative. This is a little bit overkill because it is ceremonial grade and it's normally just supposed to be drank with water, but that's okay for the purpose of this video. And we're also gonna be needing honey to taste, steamed milk, and a little bit of hot water to mix with this little matcha. And we're gonna be needing this little matcha whisk just to stir it up a little bit in the beginning to break it down. I'm gonna take 2 scoops. So 1 scoop, 2 scoops. Next up, we're just gonna add a little bit of hot water just to break apart the matcha. Gonna take our little matcha whisk and just whisk gently. Next up, we have our steamer jug, and we're just gonna add some milk to it. Then we're gonna add our matcha green tea concoction to it. And we're just gonna steam it with the matcha in the milk so it's nice and creamy and well blended. So as a reminder, don't forget to clean your steaming wand because it's hot and it will dry out and cake onto the steaming wand. So it's a good idea to clean it immediately after use. Now that we've finished steaming our matcha, we're gonna add a little bit of honey to taste. So we're just gonna get our honey here and just add a tiny little bit just for taste. That should be good enough. Add our matcha right here. I love the color because it's so green. Nice amount of foam at the top. Give it a nice stir just to melt that honey in. And there we have it, the finished product. So this is your traditional green tea latte. Loved having the matcha. Let's give it a taste. Yep, still definitely one of my favorite drinks. So next time you know that you can use basically any grade. I definitely went a little bit overkill. You can definitely tell the quality of the matcha by the color of the finished product. You can see that this nice deep green. If you use a lower grade matcha, it's totally fine. It's basically the same thing, especially when you're making it into a matcha latte. And there we have it, our 4 different kinds of tea lattes. So first off, we made our instant chai, then we made our traditional chai, then the London fog latte, and then finally the matcha tea latte. Let us know down below what latte was your favorite, and let us know what you want to see us next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next week. Cheers.